Welcome, glad you found me. This is the first in a series of introductory videos that I want to do to help bring you up to speed, kind of get you introduced to the workouts and the structure that we do here at Flip the Gym. Today is just going to be a brief 20-minute workout where we're going to go through a series of 6 exercises, all focused on lower body, but with a real focus on form tips. So to help you, protect your spine, to protect your joints, to be doing the right body motions that will help you in strength training, but will also help you just in daily living. And those activities we do kind of day to day that put stresses on our body in different ways. So the workout is always structured pretty similarly. We usually have maybe 6 to 8 exercises we cycle through. I use the Tabata timer, which means we're working for 20 seconds, we're off for 10 seconds. And then often I may have a transition set in between those exercises. So if we do one exercise, 6 rounds of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. That 20 seconds on, you're just doing as many reps as you can. You're working all that you can before you take that break. And then in between that and your second exercise, I may have a transition set where we do some core work or some cardio work. So these are high intensity training workouts, strength training. I use dumbbells, loop bands, and body weight stuff. So today, weights are going to be optional as I just work through these 6 different exercises. And I'll talk you through the form that we use. And my hope is that through this workout or through this instructional and the couple others that I'm going to publish that will give you an introduction to the upper body work that we do, that you'll gain more confidence in those movements so that you can kind of play along with all the rest of the series that I do. You'll see I interchange out a lot of common body movements. So as you get comfortable with these, then you'll be able to follow along with the rest of what we do. So we'll start with a warm-up. So I always warm up dynamically, so that may mean jumping jacks or high knees, squats, something to get your cardio, get your heart pumping a little bit too. So let's just start out with maybe 15, 20 jumping jacks to get your body moving. And then I will get our timer started. And I've got a series of 6 today where we're going to work through 6 common lower body exercises that I'll often incorporate in different ways. Okay? So air squats here, just to get warmed up, and then I'll get our timer going. Okay? So weights are optional here. The first exercise we do is a squat. So if you've got a weight, sometimes I'll call goblet hold, which means a dumbbell that I'm holding underneath my chin this way. Or I might call for dumbbells just in either hand. And that, of course, will look like this out at your side. So for our squat, we're going to start with a dumbbell in each hand. When you squat, you're thinking about pressing your seat back. Your knees are vertically aligned with your toes, but they are not coming out in front of them. So as you see my side view, I'm upright, my shoulders are back. I'm pressing my seat back, and my knees are not coming out over my toes. Okay, so that's going to be our first exercise. I'm going to get our timer started. You'll see it behind me. We've got a countdown here, and then it'll get going on our 20 seconds. All right, so starting out with squat. Pressing my seat back, dumbbells in hand, my shoulders are back. Deep breathing, of course, is important when you're strength training or doing any cardio. So I'll remind you, break. So I'll remind you that means taking a nice deep breath in through your nose and releasing it out your mouth. Here we go, round 2. So in this squat position, I think as I'm lowering my body, pressing my seat back, as I come back upright, I'm really thinking about driving through my heels to stand upright. Break. So I often give verbal cues like, your toes should be able to wiggle freely. What I mean by that, here we go, round 3, go. What I mean by that, of course, is all the pressure is in your heels when you do these. almost as though you're looking for a seat behind your booty. Break. All right, you'll figure out those cues. When it beeps, I might call out break or transition. Round 4. Here we go. There are really so many exercises you can do at home with just a few pieces of equipment. Break. 2 more rounds here. Go. There are so many great options out there, of course. I started this just because I felt like we could simplify it. I got frustrated searching through all the different options and felt like there's got to be a way to simplify this. Break. So if you pay much attention to current reading or studies, my fitness certification is through American Council on Exercise. It's one of the big names in the industry. And so I follow their recommendations. And each of my workouts that I plan in the week cover all those major muscle groups, the number of times break that they recommend. All right, for the second exercise, we're going to do a sumo squat. So if you've got a weight, you might take that single weight goblet hold under your chin. Sumo means that your toes are going to be pointed out and your knees are going to go out with them. Okay, so my feet are out wider than hip stance here. I'm going to press my knees out, aligned with my toes whenever I get started. All right, here we go. Go. So on a sumo squat, our bodies are kind of tempted to stick our booties out and kind of curve our spine. So one of the reminders I often cue you on here is to keep your tailbone tucked under. I'll give you a side view here in a second. Great. So we'll go for round 2. My side view on my sumo squat, just so you can see, I am focused on still staying upright, like I did with the squat. Okay, I've got a weight in hand. My body naturally wants to lean forward, but I'm trying to keep my tailbone tucked under, my shoulders back. These are good movements to do in front of a mirror if you've got one, or break. Or you can always set that phone out and record a little video of yourself. You don't have to post it on YouTube though. Here we go, round 3, go. Okay, your knees may be tempted to kind of collapse in toward one another. Push them out. The more you do this, the more you'll kind of get to know your body and might recognize things, pulls or strains as they occur. Break as a different feeling in your body, and it will help to keep you attuned to what stretching you might need to focus on. Halfway there, round 4, go. So each of these exercises, we're doing 6 rounds, 20 seconds on, 10-second break. This 20 seconds, we're getting in as many as we can. You can modify the intensity here of the workout however you need it. Break. So modifying the intensity to you may look like slowing it down. It may mean when we're doing things like squats. Go. When we're doing things like squats, modifying the intensity may mean that you just have a mini squat, right? That your knees are slightly bending and back upright. Or it may mean if you need a challenge, you're pressing deeper into that squat or you're speeding it up. It's important that you're kind of listening to your own body cues. Break. We have just one more. Go. All right, we will go from here. We'll have our 30-second break after this, and I'll introduce the third exercise. And the third exercise is going to be a lunge. So there are many different variations on a lunge. Great. You can set that weight aside. If you'd like to have a dumbbell in each hand for this one, that'll work, or even up at your shoulders. So the lunges that we're going to cycle through. The first one is a forward lunge or front lunge. So I'm stepping one foot out in front of me, lunging forward. That back knee doesn't have to come to the ground. It can graze it maybe. Or again, modifying intensity. This can just be a small motion. So the things to keep in mind here: front leg, knee to toe aligned, and not pressing that knee out in front of your toe. Okay, so front lunge. We're staying just to one side here. So often when I do an exercise like this, I might mix it up with a set of dumbbells and ask you to curl at the same time. Great. The next one we're going to do is a reverse lunge. So I'm going to step forward so I've got the space behind me. Similar motion, but I'm going to take that back leg behind me, still making sure that it gets back far enough that that front knee isn't coming out in front of my toe. Okay, when you do that, that just puts an unnecessary strain on your knee. So again, thinking about all that pressure, all your weight, driving through that front heel. Driving through that front heel with your toes loose. All right, last one on this side, I'm going to come out to a side lunge. Go, so I'm going to step side, again, pressing my seat back, driving my heel to get me upright. Okay, if I gave you my side view of that, you would see my knee is not out in front of my toes, my booty's pressing back. On a side lunge, great. On a side lunge, I may have you grab a set of dumbbells and you're straddling each foot as you go down and up. Let's side lunge to the other side now. Side lunge, other side, pressing your seat back. Okay, so the objective of this workout, getting you introduced to all these key or major muscle movements for all the lower body exercises that we do. Break. All right, staying on that side, you're going to reverse lunge now. So whatever foot you were side lunging with now, have that be the foot that leads stepping back and driving upright. Okay, so that front foot is where you're really driving through that heel. You're going to feel it in your buns. You might feel it in the top of that quad. You might just feel it all over. Great, good. All right, last one, that same foot, you're going to lunge forward now. Okay, so we've covered in our lunge, front, reverse, and side. Go. So think about, where you're feeling that movement. Think about stability. Great. All right, next one is a fun one. We're going to go side to side on this one. It's a curtsy lunge. Again, here I might have you grab a goblet hold weight under your chin. A curtsy lunge means my feet are a little bit wider than hip width apart. One foot is going to kick behind the other, and then I'm down to a lunge with that foot almost diagonally behind me. Okay. Go. As always, you're going to keep those shoulders drawn back. You're going to think about that front heel driving you to upright position. Break. So I always tell my class, don't ever be afraid to go up to that heavier weight. Particularly, particularly you're working out from home. You don't have to worry about how it looks to somebody else. You don't have to be concerned with that. You don't have to be concerned about failing. You could start heavy and lighten if when you need to. But I'm always of the mind, break. that weight set is never going to get easier until you're increasing. Okay, so 5 will feel heavy until one day you say, all right, I'm doing it, I'm moving up to 10s, right? And then a couple weeks there, and you'll go back to 5s and think, huh, I guess it did finally get easier, huh? Now, of course, every day is different. We have our strong days and our less strong days. Great. But you keep pushing through and you'll see that result for sure. Halfway there, we have 3 more rounds of this. Go. Lunges. Go. And my next one is one of my favorites. It's a deadlift. I like booty work. I was blessed with strong booty. It's good for running up hills. Not so good for squeezing into jeans always, but I like a deadlift. Great. All right, so a deadlift, I'll usually tell you to grab your heavier weights. You can grab weights here or not. I just want you to think about the body motion. So the body motion, my shoulders are drawn back, my spine is neutral. So as I hinge forward, I'm gonna think about the front of my hip, making a nice crease, and I'm not gonna roll my spine or stick my booty back. Okay, so a deadlift means those weights are coming against my legs, and as I stand upright, they stay against my body. I'm thinking about pressing through my heels. My knees are just soft, so they're not bent, but they're not straight either. You might say, what's a soft knee? It's a bone, right? Break. All right, round 2 of a deadlift. All right, draw your shoulders back. Don't let that booty to pop out. Your neck, because your neck and of course your head is just the top of your spine. What I'm thinking about is keeping my neck and that part of my spine also neutral. So my gaze is maybe 5 feet in front of me as I hinge forward. Right. Good work, here we go. Shoulders back, hinge forward. I'm in North Carolina, and these summer days are just about too hot to be outside if you're not in the water. Break. So I got up early, beat the heat. I like to run with a group of women or whoever is in town in a given weekend. So we got it in this morning before it got too hot. And then I have a 10-year-old that loves a scooter ride or bike ride. So I about had enough time, break, to shower off, and we were off again for another walk with his scooter. So staying moving, always staying moving. Here we go. Go. But I'm grateful for that. Thankful for a healthy body and really a strong believer in physical exercise being a fantastically healthy way to process all the stressors in our life. So I talk a lot about that and how important it is. Break. 1 more of these. how important it is for our mental health and overall well-being to stay as active as we can. I also talk a lot about healthy habits because I'm really a believer that we can make a plan for those and stay on track with that. We can change bad habits. We have the strength in us to do that. So, great. I read a lot about that and I'm passionate about it. All right, last of our 6 exercises is going to be a single leg deadlift. So for a single leg deadlift, if you're working with a weight today or when you do, that weight is going to be in the hand opposite of your balancing leg. By single leg, that means that weight is going to skim the body again as I hinge forward, my back leg coming up just as far as I'm comfortable. So for you, maybe a couple inches. This is not my strongest exercise. Go. And I have the tendency to sometimes wobble. But again, stability, balance, also a key part of overall health. So I like to mix these into our workouts through the week. Break. If you've got a weight, switch hands. We're going to balance on the other leg now. Here we go. Roll those shoulders back. Go. Ooh. If you've got a wall near you or something or a chair, it's okay to use that as you build up stability. Break. Round 3. 2 more each side. Whew. Go. Again, my gaze 5-6 feet in front of my foot, thinking about pressing into that heel. Break. Really squeezing that glute for this work. Here we go. So through this, I've really introduced you to all the 6 major body movements we do for lower body work. In my classes, I do a lot of compound or complex exercises. So that might involve one of these lower body movements mixed in with an upper body movement. Break. 1 more each side here. So I might ask you to do a deadlift and then take those weights and bring them up under your chin for a deadlift to pull up. Or I might do a sumo squat with a bicep curl. Ooh. Or I might not talk while I'm trying to balance. That would be smarter if I was going to break. If I was going to subject myself to a YouTube recording, I might be a little more cautious about that. All right, last one. Go. So I think we've worked up a sweat just in this brief workout. Check out the other recordings for the upper body movements. Great. All right, if you have a weight, set it aside. If not, go ahead and step those feet out into a wide stance. You're going to hinge to your left. Ooh. It's okay to have soft knees here too, of course. Think about pulling your belly to your quad for a nice deep hamstring stretch. Walk your hands over to the other side. Same thing here. Pull that belly to your quad. Good, hang in the center. So every workout I do, as I introduce the exercises, I'll ask you to get warmed up. So you warm up on your own with some of those dynamic movements. Then we'll get into our set, and I'll pull you down. We'll stretch out toward the end, and you'll be on your way. So look out for those upper body instructional videos, and I hope to see you again. Thanks for joining.